one of the guys that is in Media Matters in 2009, after Bush was gone from office, he said, "The progressive movement is in need of an enemy. George W. Bush is gone. We really don't have John McCain to kick around anymore. Filling the lack of leadership on the right, Fox News has emerged as the central enemy and antagonist of the Obama administration, our congressional majorities, and the progressive movement as a whole." Okay, so they must, they say, take Fox News head-on in a well-funded, presidential-style campaign to discredit and embarrass the network, making it illegitimate in the eyes of news consumers. And here's why I thought that was interesting. These guys were talking about a personal campaign to take out members of Fox, whether it's shareholders, whether it's personalities on air, whether it's news people. And that, to me, is saying they can't depend on the I guess the victories. They can't rest on their laurels of the victories that they did win in, say, 2008, which is the immediate predecessing event before this happened. They got Obama into office, but then there was no energy in their movement. There was no oomph behind it. We see what happened in 2010 after this. You know, the House was completely swept into Republican hands, handily. But they needed a target. They needed a demon. They needed somebody to go after. Not just publicly in terms of, hey, we're going to slam this person in the press. They were talking private investigators and hiring people to dig deep into the background of all sorts of people. It's part of that Alinsky tactics of, you know, hold up the other side to their own standards and try to make them live up to their own standards, because it is impossible. And that is why we have so many people on the right who, when they're confronted with scandal, they're ushered out the doors, because we have that value. We want people to be held to the standard that we believe in. We don't have, at least if we did, it's been a long time ago, or I didn't know about it, Republican presidents in sex scandals or things like that. It's been a while since that has happened. We tend to exact more from our candidates and forgive less, and the left takes advantage of that. And so what they're doing is launching personal attacks on Fox in this memo. That's what their plan was. That's not only that they've taken after this News Corp, that they've gone after the people at Fox. This is what they do with we've talked about it before here, with your personal donations to political causes. This is what they do when they go in, they look into someone's background and they manufacture stuff, or they attempt to manufacture stuff, drawing lines, connecting dots that aren't there in order to do that. And that is one of the things we need to understand that we're up against, that there is a concerted, full-time, 24/7 paid attack machine that is out to do things like this.
And why do you think it's so hard for people to talk politics at work? And it's so hard for conservatives to get funding for things, because the conservative business person isn't going to publicly make a political donation to a conservative cause or to a conservative blogger, because then he's not the accounting guy, he's the conservative accounting guy. Whereas if he donates to liberal causes, he's just the accounting guy. So the liberal, all of the liberal blogs and stuff, they get tons of money from people, small, medium, and large. And our guys, it's not just a chilling of free speech in that we are intimidated into not talking about our conservative views. It's a chilling of political donations. How many very rich people would love to donate to conservative causes, but Brendan Eich lost his job for what, a $5,000 donation 5 years before? What would happen? And we see the Koch brothers comparatively don't donate that much money to political causes compared to guys on the left. But they are the absolute boogeymen, and they are raked over the coals for everything they do. And this is the way the left, and they gang up, and they create that program at Media Matters, and it's well funded by Tides Foundation and the Ford companies and all of the things that fund Media Matters because they do great charity work or whatever. The Clinton Foundation, they'll spend 5% on poor people at Haiti, and then another 10% goes to Media Matters. That's the way all that works. I made up those numbers off the top of my head. Don't fact check me.
Because otherwise you'd be known as the conservative poor accounting guy.
Exactly. The conservative bad accounting guy. But they do that. They coordinate these attacks, and their funding pays for 10 people to discover and do these things, but those 10 people communicate to 10 other people who will freely duplicate and replicate the message. So they have, force multipliers like you wouldn't believe.
If we start talking about that, poverty, and contrast that with the influx of, cheap labor that this administration is attempting to bring in, I think there's a wedge there in the middle of that whole left constituency, Democrat constituency, that we can start driving through without costing us anything.